All right, thank you for taking the time to hear me out today. The purpose of the presentation is quite simple. We will review the Odoo and Outlook connector. We'll take a dive into what the connector does, and we'll take of course, a look at how it does it. So we'll actually go from just a short presentation detailing some of the workflows, and then we'll dive into an actual live product demo where we'll show it off a little bit. Alrighty, so let's slide over to the presentation here, and let's begin. So let's first start with discussing why did Odoo decide to build an Outlook connector. The answer is quite simple. Outlook isn't going anywhere. It's a pretty commonplace email platform that lots of our customers use, and for that reason, knowing that we're in the business of making our customers' lives easier and making their businesses run more efficient, it made sense to bridge these two solutions, right? Customers are always using Outlook, and of course our customers are always using Odoo as well. So by allowing more seamless passing along of information between the two systems, we're enabling less manual data entry, which of course saves time, increases efficiency, and ultimately what that's going to do is give our customers better visibility into the inner workings of their relationships with their clients, because more information can be tracked more quickly, more reliably, more accurately across the platform. And specifically the connector and the details of that connector that we'll dive into today will pertain to the CRM. So what is connected with Outlook? What does that mean exactly? That's obviously a question many of us are asking ourselves. It's connector, that's a big word. There's many different pieces to the puzzle when it comes to moving data between systems, but we're going to focus here on some of the core concepts that we've connected between Odoo and Outlook. First, what does it mean? It means creating contacts in Odoo from Outlook. So you're working in Outlook, you receive an incoming email from a prospect or from anyone, and you want to know, hey, does this person exist in my Odoo database? And what you'll be able to do with the new connector is pull it up and quickly assess right from Outlook whether or not that contact is in the database. And if they are not in the database, Odoo will allow you to create a new contact automatically right from Outlook without ever having to go to Odoo. So that's the first thing that it'll allow you to do. The second thing, of course, is we can create opportunities in Odoo without having to leave Outlook. So back to my scenario, incoming mail arrives, we evaluate to see if this contact exists in Odoo. They do not. We create the contact. We want to take it a step further, and we also create an opportunity directly in Odoo with that information. And of course, the next logical step in that workflow would be to associate that incoming mail or outgoing with this opportunity that we just created directly from Outlook. And of course, you'll be able to associate that mail within Odoo directly from Outlook. And last but not least, there's also some additional fields which will be tracked in Odoo and made visible to you in Outlook. This information stems from two places. It can either stem from Clearbit or it can stem directly from the Odoo database. So information from Clearbit is going to include the company name, the size, the industry they're in, financial data. It's going to have links to social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I think Crunchbase as well. And we'll see that just in a second here. And in addition to that, there'll be some other data points that we track, such as expected revenue, phone number, of course, email, things like that. And we'll showcase that a little bit as we dive into the workflow. All right, so how do we do this, you might ask? You're probably wondering, did Odoo make it easy for me to install and get this connector working, or is it going to be difficult? And we'll have you know that we've spent a lot of time really trying to make this as easy as possible for you to activate and start using. And I'm going to show you a little bit here today about what the steps leading up to making this usable, what they look like. First thing you're going to want to do is go into Odoo, into the settings, and in your search bar, you can type in Outlook, extension, CRM, whatever you might want to, as long as it is associated with the name here. and you'll see you have the option to tick the box and save the setting. This activates the Outlook connector or module on the Odoo side. As far as configuration on the Odoo side is concerned, that's all you have to do. If you can think of an easier quote unquote installation or setup on the Odoo side than that, then let us know and we'll try to make it work for you. But we thought this was pretty simple. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to head on over to Outlook. And when you're in Outlook, you're going to want to go to your settings option in the right-hand corner. You'll see that indicated by 3 dots. Pull open that panel. And at the bottom, you'll see you can get add-ins. You're going to want to select that. And when you select that, you're going to be brought to a page that looks like this. And you'll be able to search all the add-ins, search for Odoo, and you'll see that the Odoo add-in will be there, and you can add that add-in to your instance of Outlook. And when you do that, it will pull something up that looks just like this. This is your configuration panel inside of Outlook that allows you to connect to your Odoo database. Here, you enter in the URL of your database, https, right, / the name, .odoo.com. And you click login, and it will actually have a pop-up that arrives that says, do you want to allow access? Do you want your Odoo database to allow access? You can say yes and pass it through. And when you do that, it will connect. And the moment you connect, you will see that it will look something like this. You'll see Odoo CRM. And if you select the name or if you select an email in this case in your inbox, it will pull up this little panel off to the right. Now let's hone in on this panel and have a closer look at what's under the hood. So starting at the top here, you'll see the contact details. This is going to pull information either directly from the Odoo database or from Clearbit, which is a solution Odoo integrates with in order to access contact information from companies, profile information, things like that. So the next thing that happens is if you have a photo for your contact in your Odoo database, it will also pull that photo and insert it here. It's always good to put a actual picture to the name or a face to the name, in other words. So next is it will pull a list, or if it's just one, of all opportunities most recently touched for this related customer or partner in Odoo. And you'll see that list here. There can be a long list, or you can even load more. There can be one opportunity, or there can be no opportunities. Or there could be many opportunities, but maybe you still want the option to create yet another one, which you will have in this instance. And you can see that indicated with the new button here on the opportunity column. Next, here you'll see general company info pulled from Clearbit. So like I mentioned before, a simple overview of the profile, address, phone, website, sector that they're operating in or the vertical, history of the company, keywords, and financial data. Up in the top right, you'll see you have the opportunity to create a new contact in Odoo directly from here. So maybe you want to create the new contact in Odoo despite having some recognition of it from Clearbit or from your Odoo database. You'll have that option here. And the little button here allows you to open up that contact record in Odoo. Next, you will see, again, you can log the note. If you look, log a note in an opportunity with the email that you are currently on in Outlook, right? So from Outlook, from this panel view, you can select the arrow that is pointing to the right, which allows you to pass this email onto that opportunity as a logged note. And if that email had been associated to an opportunity previously, that will be indicated or noted with the check mark. So you'll know not to duplicate it, for example. Here, you can visit social, as mentioned, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Crunchbase. So have that option there as well. And again, the purpose of this is to give you, the end user, better and faster and more reliable visibility into whoever it is that just emailed you. We see the most valuable use case of this being really for sales teams. That's why it's baked into the CRM. You want your salespeople to be smart, fast on their feet, to understand who they're talking to, like to have some context in order to help shape their reply. That's really what you're getting out of this, right? A quick view into LinkedIn or to Crunchbase might reveal some information that could be useful in a follow-up email, allowing for better connections to be made, better credibility to be established, and ultimately really optimizing the probability of you or your salesperson building the right relationships to win the business. And that's really what we're focused on here in terms of moving information from Odoo CRM into Outlook. Now, you've probably heard enough of me going through the details of this slide presentation. So let's see it in action. We'll back out of here. We'll jump into my email, and I'll actually send this email to the Nicholas Kaczynski, that's nkodoo.com. We actually want to send it to my Outlook email, and we'll click send. And now we'll just give it a second here while that email loads. Alrighty. And it will just be any second now, and we'll see that it will arrive for us. There it is. And you'll see the email new product, which just arrived now at 7:08 p.m. And you can see the time indicated here. It's here. So let's check it out in Odoo. And we go right here to the three dots. We go to Odoo for Outlook, pull it open, and we can see just like that all the information that I need will pull directly from Odoo. And in this case, this contact doesn't yet exist in Odoo. So what we're going to want to do is we can add that contact right to Odoo if we want. But before doing that, let's have a closer look at what's happening already there so we can see more real time how things are populating. As of right now, I have these three contacts in Odoo. When I go back to Outlook and I click add, just like that, it indicates the new button or add button has been removed. And when I refresh, I see a new contact has been created in real time. And I can pull it open and see that the email which I sent that from is carried along with it. Now, what you can also do is see if I enter the phone number for this contact and save it, that it will also populate here as well. And I can pull that open, and whenever I do a quick refresh of the panel, you'll see that the contact information for Nicholas Kaczynski has passed along with it. Now, let's say that I want to go a step further and I want to create an opportunity in the CRM for this contact. And I can do that by clicking right here. And what happens is it actually redirects to Odoo in this case, versus as when I created the contact, it didn't redirect, it just added. And the reason why we've set it up this way or designed it this way is because we anticipate the salesperson wanting to add information into the CRM when they create that fresh opportunity. Instead of having your salesperson click add and then have to manually go and visit Odoo and search for the opportunity and access it, we give them a more seamless bridge to get there. And with that being said, you'll see the name of the customer is automatically added here as the name of the opportunity. The actual customer profile that we created before is aligned, or it's connected to it. And you'll see here the email and the phone number are also synced in real time. And we can save this opportunity here. Now, what you can also do is we can go and update the expected revenue. Let's say $50,000 and save that. And when I go back to Outlook, and if I do a refresh on that and pull this open, you will see that the expected revenue and my opportunity are linked below. And if I ever want to access that, I can just click on that and it will redirect me accordingly. So the next and last thing that I want to show you in today's presentation is how to associate this email with this opportunity. And as you can imagine, it's as simple as clicking that little button there. And you'll see right now there's nothing, but when I go, if I refresh this page to update it, you'll see that at the bottom now the email has automatically been brought in, and it will indicate here that it was logged from my Outlook inbox. And that is how you associate the opportunity, the email, with the opportunity in Odoo without ever having to leave Outlook. So you can see as information gets added and as I have a more robust contact / opportunity filled out, that everything will update accordingly. So at this point, that does conclude what I had intended to go over in today's presentation of the Odoo Outlook connector. If you have any additional questions for me looking forward, you can find me in the room where this chat will be held after I finish the presentation here, of course. And I'll be happy to address any questions that you might have or dive into any details a little bit further regarding the connector and its functionality. Thanks so much for your time and have a great day.
Good evening from Brussels. My name is Johannes. I'm here with the one and only Nicolas Kozinski. He just gave a very interesting talk about one of the most anticipated features for version 14, the Outlook plugin between Odoo and the CRM. So we will go through the questions in the chatter now. And as always, I strongly encourage you to continue asking us questions. We have roughly a 10-minute window to answer all your questions right now. And I would just jump right in and start with the first questions, if that would be okay with you, Nicolas.
Sure.
Perfect, great. So actually, this question was down the road asked multiple times already. So they're asking if this function would also be available with Gmail, not only with Outlook.
At this time, it's only available with Outlook. There are plans in the near future to release this functionality for Gmail as well. It's absolutely on our radar. As far as why it isn't part of this release, right, there were some things we were working out with Google, which kind of extended our timeline more than we anticipated, but we're working through that.
So rest assured, it's coming. Just right now, we have to be working with Outlook. Jorn had a different question as well, and he's asking, will I be able to link a mail to an existing help desk ticket or create a new help desk ticket?
The answer is no in this current version. Right now, the Outlook connector is exclusively working with our CRM, specifically with the ability, as mentioned, to create contacts as well as to create opportunities. As far as the integration with help desk being available in future versions, it's still to be determined. I'm not sure to where it is on the product roadmap.
Yeah, right now it's just focused solely on the CRM aspect, and that's where we close the question. Raf had a question: can incoming emails be saved to a contact or multiple contacts of your choice? So not just the opportunity itself.
Mails are only able to be synced with opportunities. You, however, can associate, or you can create a new contact, and in Outlook you can look at the related contact, but you cannot save mails to the REST partner. You can only save mails to the CRM.p object.
And there's actually another question from Bert that sort of fits in the same direction. And does it show all the emails related to that contact? So all of his colleagues can, for example, see the email contact with the customers.
To make sure I understand, can you repeat the question to make sure?
Yeah, sure. So does it show all the emails related to a specific contact in Odoo, meaning that so that all his colleagues that are using the database can see the mail contact with the customer?
No, you wouldn't see all of the mails from that contact. You could do that. That's something you would perform in Outlook. The purpose of the connector is to ascribe specific mails in Outlook to specific opportunities in order to contextualize, or to evidence or catalog elements of a conversation or an entire conversation that's happening to a specific op. To have a full, fledged view of all correspondence with the contact, that's what Outlook is designed for.
Yeah, I agree completely. That should be kept in Outlook and not in Odoo.
Right.
And there's a question regarding if an email can be edited before importing an email. So like removing personal information or items that are not relevant to the conversation that you want to save in Odoo.
So you're asking if you can remove parts of a conversation?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question of Kevin. Yeah.
So you can choose particular mails, right? A thread is composed of many mails, and you can choose the specific mail which you would like to pass along from Outlook and have logged in Odoo. You do not have to pass. It's not right. The integration and what you choose to log isn't at the thread level, meaning the entire chain of emails associated with that thread. So you would go through individual mails and choose what to log in, but not to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I think this has been asked and also answered by the chat multiple times. But is there also a calendar synchronization now between Odoo and Outlook?
Calendar synchronization. I believe there is a calendar synchronization, but that wasn't part of this particular connector.
Exactly. Yeah.
This connector is exclusively to bridge the gap between mails and the CRM. As far as the calendar synchronization, there is, I believe, native functionality within Odoo to sync the calendar, and there's also third-party apps available, like whether that's PySync and other solutions to bridge that gap. That's kind of treading on the territory of 365, which incorporates other parts of
precisely.
Contacts and mail and meetings and calendars and all that kind of stuff. So it's outside the scope of this connector in this discussion.
Exactly. That connector has nothing to do with that, but actually just to reassure you, we do have now with version 14 Outlook calendar synchronization. So as Nicolas said, we do support it. And there's also another question: when you attach the email, is it an added message to the answer from Odoo, or is it added as a note? So essentially, are you able to carry the conversation from both Odoo and Outlook?
So it's when you add the message from Outlook to Odoo, it's logged as an internal note in Odoo, and there is an indicator at the bottom of the message that says it came from by way of the Outlook connector. So you can know what's a note and what is a note that was logged via the Outlook connector.
Perfect. Yeah. And how about what about attachments? So when you receive an email with tons of pictures, is that getting carried also over to Odoo?
I believe attachments are getting carried over as well as part of the note that is created in Odoo, or as part of it passes that information from one to the other. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a bit more technical question. It's again related to the Office 365 integration. So does this include an easy setup of an Office 365 and Outlook email address in Odoo?
Does this include? So you wouldn't go into Odoo to create your Office 365 account. You would
precisely
your 365 account in general. You would configure all of that outside of Odoo. By way of the 365 platform, and then you would go in. The only thing you would do in Odoo is what I showed in the video. You would check the box in the settings to activate the Outlook connector, which installs the module. And once that's installed, everything else in terms of configuration is done outside of Odoo. So you go back into Outlook, into the mail, you align the database that you want to sync with Odoo, and it will point to the Odoo database you specify, and it will exchange information between them. So all configuration outside of just ticking that box in Odoo is done outside of Odoo in Outlook.
Okay. I think that answers the question perfectly for us at least. Right now, there are not any new questions. They're often repeating the same questions about the Outlook calendar integration. But is there anything that you want to share? I know, for example, the connector is just version 1. Do you have any info regarding version 1.2 or 1.5?
At this time, I do not. I know that nothing else to add that we haven't already discussed. Obviously, extending the connector to other objects or records, or even higher than that, other apps like help desk, specifically the ticket record, and being able to sync that with now. Obviously, that's on the radar. But as far as just getting over the gap of bridging the first connection, that's the difficult part. Understanding how users interact with the tool and iterating on our connector in order to remove some functionality and focus on building what the market wants. That's version 1. That's what we're doing today. And then duplicating this functionality and applying it to other apps. That's not as challenging. And that's to come in the future for sure. But,
I couldn't agree more. It's been a request from a lot of clients of us, and I think I would call it with the last question here from Matthias. What is the biggest advantage of this method compared to creating opportunities based on an email linked to a sales channel?
Could you repeat that question? I want to make sure I understand it.
So Matthias asked, what is the biggest advantage of this method compared to creating opportunities based on an email link to a sales channel. So like an email alias that we have in the CRM module, right? Where you can just forward the email to the alias from your inbox.
Sure, I can answer. I mean, they're not really the same thing. I think the email alias is more designed for, right, okay, I want to interact with Odoo and I want to have a record created when I do interact, which we can then drive conversation around. Whereas, right, the Outlook connector is going to allow you a few different added values. One, you're going to have visibility into the contact. Two, you're going to have visibility into any of the opportunities related to that contact. And three, you're going to have more control over what information is logged in Odoo and what information is exclusively kept in Outlook, is to not clutter your view in Odoo and to keep the information you do decide to log easier to sift through and access.
Perfect. And I think this one question we can quickly jump in as well, and it's where to download and add this connector in Odoo. It's a very easy question.
Very easy. Go into the set, make sure CRM is installed, and then go into your settings, search Outlook in the search bar, or you'll see a little option called Outlook for CRM. It's the little checkbox. All you do is check the box, save it, and that's it. And for the technical people, obviously, this would install the module in the backend, but the user doesn't need to know that. They just need to know they need to check the box.
So just get version 14, get a contact with us for the CRM module as well, and go to settings and install the module. Our time now is actually stopped. So thank you very much, Nicolas, for your time and the very interesting talk. It was a very anticipated feature, and I can't wait to try it out with my clients. Best of luck to Buffalo right now, and I wish you a pleasant day. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.